5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're on.
Hi, everybody. I'm James Lint. I'm the Assistant Planning Director for the Town of Basalt, and welcome to the Arbaney Pool Renovation Pre-Bid Meeting. Can everybody hear us out there? Any audio? Okay, great. Wanted to kind of start the meeting here with some introductions. As I said, I'm James Lint, the Assistant Planning Director for the Town of Basalt. We have Susan Felt, the Town Planning Director, on the call. We have Giles Thornley from Connect One Design. We've got Elise Hoddle from Connect One Design. We actually have Randy Henry here from Z Group Architects in place of Seth. We have Chris Lehrman with SGM. We also have Rob Larson, who's over in the corner here. Not sure you pick him up on Zoom. He's a Public Works Department pool specialist. And we also have Brian Pacente, who's the town's recreation director. So we'd like to begin the meeting by doing a bit of project background and scope description from Giles. Giles, I'll stop sharing my screen and you can
start sharing mine.
Do yours. There we go.
Greetings, Earthlings. Thanks very much for jumping on this call today. I'm going to give a very quick history and overview of the project. So this has been on the wish list of the Parks, Open Space and Trails Board, Post Board, for about 7 years now, and it's finally coming to fruition. So the existing building was built, the existing complex was built about 25 years ago, and the Parks, Open Space and Trails Board recognized there was a need for an upgrade. It's looking a little worn inside, especially in the changing room aspect of things. And more importantly, of the portfolio of facilities in the municipality, the pool is the single largest emitter of greenhouse gases, and costs a lot to run. So we're now in 2020, and the technology is starting to come to a place where we can really examine how to lower the amount of greenhouse gases that this facility is going to be emitting into the atmosphere, and turn this somewhat of an energy hog into the pride and joy of the town of Basalt. So this is really a remarkable project from an energy savings and greenhouse gas standpoint. We've worked very hard with BG Building Works, used to be Bowden Gans, and the Town of Basalt Green Team to find a solution that would the goal was to make this almost a net zero complex, and we're getting close. So I'll walk you through in a minute through the 3D model of what the full phase of how this is going to come together, and then introduce what the phase is, the first phase that you'll be bidding on. There's the Parks, Open Space and Trails Committee and Connect One Design have been working arm in arm with Z Group Architects to renovate the interior of the changing rooms to make this an incredible facility based on a specific budget. So Randy Henry from Z Group, as James said, is here today to answer any of your questions to do with the set of drawings associated with the interior renovations of the changing rooms. So you can see here, again, this 3D model demonstrates what the future, the all-in 4-year plan encompasses, not necessarily what you're bidding on today. So for example, this roof overhang and this bump out are not going to be happening in this phase. It's merely a core and shell renovation inside, with the addition and removal of some access points, entrances and exits, and the creation of a new office And again, in concert with the idea of trying not to use too much energy, we're going to use the sun, since this is a facility that is open only during the summertime. We're going to use the sun to illuminate the spaces as much as we can within the changing room facility. So that's what we call these solar tubes. I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with the solar tube technology, but you can see these round dots here are solar tubes. And those are all in the specifications under the architectural drawings. One thing to note is the PV panels that we are proposing to apply to the roof, the existing roof, has gone out as a separate RFP item, and we'll be opening up those bids this week, and we'll make it public as to who the winner of that RFP will be for you to team up and coordinate with. So in a nutshell, you know, the renovation of the changing room facility is a big deal, and this is something that needs to occur between the time that we start and the time that the swimming pool reopens on May 21st. We cannot emphasize that enough. By the time the gates are open, we want that facility to be completely renovated and redone by May 21st. And no signs of construction equipment, vehicles, staging area, all that has to be removed, and so that the swimming program can be seamless as possible for that. So that is the top priority. Anything else I should add? No. We're good? Okay. Elise, anything more I should add about the PV panel RFP? Great.
I think the main thing that, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The one thing that I just want to clarify is that we did give the PV installers the opportunity to suggest alternate placement of the solar tubes in order to maximize the PV capacity. So there might, you know, when Giles says that you will be working together, definitely there will be opportunity for some slight changes there.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the aquatic facilities, there is, as some of you know, an existing really lovely swimming pool, lap pool, and a diving pool area, and what we call a kids wading pool. This has been on the docket for the last 2 years to be replastered and brought up to certain codes. So there's definitely some household items in there. We did receive a bid last year for this work to occur, but we'd like to wrap in a new round of numbers with the potential bidders on the aquatic facilities. This too needs to be finished before May 21st. The pool is now empty and ready for replastering when the right time is. So there are all kinds of other things that are identified on Andy LaSalle's drawings, who's our aquatic engineer, that need to take place. But I won't get into that too much. One of the things that's actually on a frozen layer is we got a new ADA ramp coming down and a new pony wall, which are really the most substantial structures that are occurring as a part of that scope. So as a reminder, we really want the changing room facilities and all the improvements to occur to the existing lap pool, swimming pool, to occur before May 21st, 2021. Moving on to the rest of the scope, we have designed a pool in the shape of a robot. It's gone through a lot of scrutiny and my sanity as well, but we have come up with a pool in the shape of a robot. Yes, like it or not. So this replaces the existing kiddie wading pool. This was a hot topic on the list, as well as trying to mitigate as much greenhouse gases that is coming out of this. We really wanted to attract a different demographic and make this a more fun facility for the kids. This robot pool is really designed for entertainment for the kids. It's not necessarily a place for them to to learn how to swim, but it's a place for them to have fun. It's for the sort of never ever younger crowd to really start to engage with water. They may be scared of water, putting their head underwater. It's really the first sort of signs of engagement. And we try to make it as fun as possible and gender neutral as possible, for that matter. So you can see the leg of the robot is a zero entry. The foot is a rain shower that goes through, and he has sort of like this bent knee feel that provides the slides. This is all a rubber surface called Lifescape that's in the specifications. One of the arm is a swim channel, and it's all at a depth of 2 feet. The tile inside, and one of the other arms is somewhat of a barrier to stop kids running over to the main pool. A lounging area, a place to put your towels, and the magnet hand is a bench. And then the eyes are these pop jet fountains. The teeth are these crossings and steps that take you up to the shallow pop jet fountain area. So yeah, and then another integral part of what the feedback from the public, we've had 2 public outreaches, is there needs to be more shade. Shade has been a top priority. So although this overhang awning around the changing rooms won't occur this year, we're going to do as much as we can for the opening of 2021 with as much sail, shade, and umbrellas as possible to give people what they want. Also in the scope is a new delineation of the pool. So today we have the existing fence line, so it comes off from the corner of this building and comes over. So we're gaining quite a bit more ground into the park, and we've got some, the playoff is that we've got a lot more space to move around the pool, lounging space, and then we have a fence design that we've worked in concert with the structural engineer, a fence that has a little bit of an overhanging characteristic that provides additional shade on this side, and it's using a perf metal in a circular pattern. There's sort of a circular theme to the whimsicalness of this project. The circles obviously indicating bubbles. So in the long run, we might have even magnetic round plaques that will go be attached to the fence as somewhat of a donor plaque in the future, but that's not a part of the scope. That's just me rambling on and indicating that I've gone on too long. But you can see the new fence line comes along here and connects into here, comes along here, and goes around the rest of the perimeter. So all the fence has been pushed out to gain more room. The existing lawnscape, lawn area will remain and be added to with additional sod. In the corner here, we are creating a little area for the heat pumps. I think we're only introducing, I don't know if Wes is on the line, it's 3 or 4 heat pumps at this time. But the full build-out will be about 8 heat pumps that will be stacked in this area. And we're hoping to have a CMU wall that will have a sort of colourful motif done by the Basalt Arts District to add a little colour. And the purpose of this wall is a sound buffer to stop the noise from the heat pumps travelling into the lounging area. And you can see here today, and I don't want to confuse everyone, there's this large roof structure, which is the pavilion roof. This is really going to be the brains, the foundation of getting this pool as close to net zero as possible. This is not, I repeat, not a part of this scope that is going out to bid today.
Giles,
yes, have I gone on to
your SketchUp model, well, your model is not keeping up with your talking, so it's a little confusing. You're talking about things, and what you're indicating on the screen is not what we're seeing. So hopefully we haven't confused people.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions?
understand.
Thanks, Stu. So the roof will be, we're calling it the pavilion, will host the existing solar thermal system that sits here today. I don't know if my hand is moving in real time. And it'll go onto this roof, and it's likely that the new direction is that a lot of photovoltaic panels will go on top to offset the heat pumps, the electric heat pumps. So I think I've covered just about everything I wanted to in terms of a brief overview. This has been vetted through Town Council. It's been vetted through Post. It's been vetted through Brian Presenti. So everyone that wanted a say in this has had a say in this, and we're ready to go. We're ready to break it. So yeah, so that's the overview.
So if you could...
Giles, Rutgers, what's the schedule for the robot pool?
So the robot pool is entirely up to the contractor. If by some miracle you think you can get it done by May 21st, you get some serious brownie points. But we're not expecting that really to happen until this time next year, once the facility closes on Labor Day 2021. You'd have that whole time to do that work. But if you want to go for it, and you think you've got the right people to do this job in the right amount of time, you would get some serious brownie points to getting all this done: the robot pool, the changing rooms, and the interior remodel of the pool by May 21st.
However, the ultimate end date of the contract would be December 21st of 2021. You know, there's some flexibility in that. So we're kind of looking for the contractors that are bidding to provide a schedule, a proposed schedule. Does that answer your question on that one?
Question, Chris?
And so, Giles, if you can please stop sharing your screen, we'll go back to the agenda here. Share the agenda. So we've gone through the scope of work. The next item that we had, and I'm not sure what's going on here. Our construction issues or items for consideration. The first one is the staging area. We have the Arbaney Park parking lot identified as the staging area. And so you can kind of propose that. In terms of the construction pause period, as Giles identified, there will be a need to stop construction as of May 21st, 2021, so that the pool can open again for the 2021 season. And then starting September 7th, construction could begin again after the pool season is over. We touched on the final kind of completion date for all the improvements we had identified as December 21st of 2021. As we identified, there's some flexibility in that date. So, you know, if you don't think you'll be done by 2021, December 21st, you know, you can propose kind of what your end date may be. There's some other items that are more technical related to the coordination of the trail access around the site. There's some demo to the trail around the site that's needed in conjunction with the project. There's an asphalt trail going around the pool. It's a very busy trail area, and it's kind of a link between the Elk Run neighborhood and Arbaney Park. So there'll have to be some coordination in order to keep some trail open between Arbaney Park and Elk Run on the berm trail. There's tree protection that's needed. There's several trees that are identified that are actually in the area of the pool that will be fenced off as part of construction. And if you're attending the site visit, we can point all those trees out. And then kind of a big item is the repair of the construction access area. Because the construction access is going to come from the Arbaney Park parking lot. At the end of the project, that area will need to be repaired, so that should be included in the bid proposals. As was identified previously, the PV photovoltaic system is proposed to be completed as part of a separate RFP, and it's required to be completed before 2020 is over. So the contractors that would be bidding on the overall renovation would have to coordinate with the PV contractor that's selected as well, as Giles touched on. And then there are several bid alternatives that are identified in the proposal. So we would hope to see kind of a separate proposal on those bid alternatives that are called out in the proposal. Some of the other items we have on the agenda include the staking. The initial staking has been done and provided by the town. So if restaking is needed, that would have to be identified in the bid. And then testing, it's expected that the contractors would do the concrete testing, the leak testing on the pool, and then also any irrigation that needs to be repaired around the pool would have to be tested as well. And then kind of moving back into the schedule, as I identified, the deadline for questions on the bids is Friday, October 9th. But we would encourage them, if you have questions, to get them in sooner. And questions are going to Lise Hoddle at the email address that's in the bid proposal. The bids would be due on Friday, October 16th at 2 p.m. And we'll be doing a bid opening on that day, Friday, October 16th, and we're going to do it via Zoom call. So if you provide a bid, we'll send you the Zoom information for the bid opening. And as I identified, the project schedule is generally to complete the changing room revisions by May 21st, 2021, in addition to the replastering of the pool by May 21st, 2021. And then the overall project would have to be completed by December 21st, 2021. But once again, there's flexibility in that construction date. So if you don't think you could have the project done by December 21st, 2021, you can propose alternative date as part of your schedule and your bid proposal. Permits, we have it identified in the proposed documents that the town would obtain the permits. And so we've got the plans and the town would get the necessary permits. And then we also have in there the bonding and insurance requirements. We've got a bid bond of 5% and then performance and payment bonds up to the 100%. So that's generally what we had on the schedule. And so we'd like to open it up for questions that are out there. Does anybody else on the design team have items to bring up at this point?
I was just wondering if maybe Weston could just describe, because Weston's on the Zoom call, right? Could you just maybe describe what the improvements are in the mechanical room?
Yeah, sure. I'll just kind of briefly go over what's going on, but the ultimate goal is everything that's in there now is being pretty much gutted. From a pool side, the pumps, which are relatively new, are staying the same, but the overall piping schematic is changing completely. The existing boiler is 25 years old. It's getting up there in age, so the original goal was to replace this. So it was taking on direct pool water. However, in order to go to heat pumps and a high efficiency condensing boiler, we need to separate them and use a glycol heating water loop and using heat exchangers. So the piping schematic essentially is being completely redone, and it's a hybrid system. So there's a gas condensing boiler in a primary secondary loop with that line of heat pumps. So the ultimate goal is to essentially just revamp the entire heating system, bring it up to a more efficient loop and provide a heat exchanger and add some more just primary secondary pumps into the system from a glycol loop. That way, from a maintenance perspective, they don't have to drain anything. The system can just sit there throughout the winter during the off season and then go through a startup at the beginning of each season.
And maybe before.
Any direct questions? I'm open to anything here.
Keep talking.
Maybe before we jump into global questions, just wanted to make an announcement that we made this a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting, but we are filming it. So it will be available on the Grassroots website, and you can go through the local governments in the town of Basalt, and you'll find it under the P&Z items, I believe, but you can contact Elise to find out exactly where this will be. You can play it again. The other thing is we did schedule a site visit for 11:15. So if you couldn't make that site visit, depending on interest, we're open potentially to having another site visit. And again, you would coordinate with Elise on the scheduling for that. So I think that's all I wanted to make an announcement on for now. So going back kind of to James, we're open to questions.
Yeah, are there any questions out there from contractors at this point?
There's some notes in the drawings, like refurbishing the existing windows, note 11, wood siding, note 16, that are kind of undecided from the architect's side. Are we going to get further clarification on those so we can do apples to apples?
What we had hoped to do, Chewy, is meet with you on site and kind of determine what that is, and then do some research into what available products are currently available today and locally and readily available, so we can work with you to kind of fine tune how we can match that siding as close as possible. And the same would go for the windows too. We're adding a few windows. We want to match the existing product as close as possible. So we felt it would be better to work with you to kind of fine tune what is available locally to match those products.
Okay, I'll see you at 11:15 and we can further discuss them.
Okay.
Quick question, Tim Thompson here with Rudd. You mentioned permits are in process now. Are they already issued, or have you guys, I know that you guys are basically doing salt permits, so they're a lot easier than Aspen. Obviously that determines when we start, or any contractor starting. I'm just curious where we are in the permit process.
We don't have permits issued as of yet, but we're in that process of getting them finalized. So it shouldn't hold anything up, I would guess. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
You're gonna have the permits by the time the bids are open, right?
Yeah, we should have the permit. We should have the permits by the time the bid is closed here.
All right, second question is, I noticed that you have Colorado pool design plans and all of the plans here. Have you guys already sent this out to all the local pool companies? Have they already started looking at all the information?
I can answer that. Colorado Pool Designs is actually, just to clarify, is the designer, not to be confused with Colorado, what's that company? Poolscapes, Colorado Poolscapes. So, so Andy LaSalle, I think, is on the phone. I think he has alerted a few of the companies in the valley, but we think this kind of complexity warrants perhaps a firm from the Front Range, and in the specifications there is a list of preferred pool contractors that have been given a heads up, and they're typically they're more regional, and some of them out of the Front Range. This is a little bit more than just a rectangle in the ground, a little bit more complicated, and no reason we can't reach out to Poolscapes or the Timberlines of the world, but we'd encourage you to take a look at that list that's in the specifications, and reach out to those subs as well.
Are there additional questions at this point? Okay. Well, hearing no more questions, we would like to provide the reminder that we do have the site visit at 11:15 at the pool, and hope to see you there.
Should we get an understanding who is coming?
Of the contractors on the call, are all of you planning on attending, or how many are we looking at? So we have Chris.
Yeah, Rutgers going.
Rod will be there.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, we'll see you guys at 11:15 at the pool.
Good to see you then.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.